Welcome back everyone, my name is Abdullah Gori from Alpha Technology, and in this video we will talk about tables in HTML. In this video I will show you how you can create tables in HTML. I will explain you everything step by step, and at the last we will also create a result sheet using these tables. So if you are new on this channel, do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so you get notification whenever we upload any new video to our channel. So without any further delay, let's start our video. So first of all, we will create a new file. So I will click on file, then new file, and I will save this file in our web designing course folder. So this is our web designing course folder, and here I will name this file as table.html. I will save this file, and we have our tables.html file right there. I will add an exclamation mark and hit enter. It will give us the basic code of HTML. So I just change the title here. I will say table in HTML. I will save this file, and what I will do, I will go back in the folder which is web designing course, and I will open up the table.html file. Now this is our table.html file. We just have the title as table in HTML. Now I will go back in the IDE, and here we will start creating our first table. So to create the table, we need to use our table tag. So here we'll say table, and when I close this tag, it will auto close the tag because we are using Visual Studio Code IDE. Or there is another alternative. You can only type table and hit enter. It will automatically open and close the tag for you. Now here we have created our first table. Now if I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can't see anything right there. Now let's say, how do we see the table? Now to see the table, we need to add a border. So we'll say border is equal to 1. If I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see a little dot out there. So if I zoom it, so this is our table for now. Now let's make this table a bit bigger. So what we can do here, we can specify the width and height of the table. So we can say width is equal to 500, height is equal to 400. If I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see we have a table right there. So now in the table we have rows and columns. Now how do we add the rows and columns? Now to add rows and columns, we will go down inside the table tag, and in the table tag we will start creating our rows. For the rows we have a tag called tr. So we'll say tr and hit enter. It will add a tr tag right there. TR stands for table row. So in the TR tag, we can specify the table column. So for the table column, we have TD. It stands for table column. So here I will say column 1. I will copy and paste this, and I will say column 2. If I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see we have 2 columns out there. Okay. Now you can create as much column as you want. So let's say we want to create 5 columns in the table. If I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see we have 5 columns. Now let's try to add the rows. To add the rows, what I will do, I will just copy this row, or you can write it by your own. I will paste it right here. So we will have 2 rows, but actually I want 3 rows. If I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see we have 3 rows and 5 columns in our table. Okay, so that's how we can add rows and column in our table. Now let's talk about another attribute. We have another attribute which is known as table header. So let's create a table header at the top of these 2 rows. Okay, so now what I will do, I will create a tr first, because inside the tr we can create any cell or any column. But this time I will use ts tag, stands for table header. Okay, now you will see the difference in a minute. So here I will say first, I will copy this 5 times. I will say second. So I just want to change the names so you can differentiate. I will say third, I will say fourth, I will say fifth. I will save this file. If I go back, if I refresh it, can you see the difference? The two things are different in the TD tag and TH tag. The first thing is that the text is centered, but here you can see the text is left aligned, but here the text is centered. Another thing is that this text is little bit bold. So whenever you use TH, it will automatically make your text as center, and it will automatically make your text as bold. So that's the benefit of using TH. Now let's talk about the other things. Okay, now let's say we want to combine two or more than two columns. How do we do that? So here, let's say we want to combine the last two columns. Okay, so here we'll say TD, and in this TD I will say combined columns. Okay, I will save this file. I will go back in the browser. If I refresh it, you can see this thing, this combined column, but there is an empty space because this space is reserved for another column. Now how do we give the space, the whole space, to this one single column? For that we use an attribute which is call span. So here we'll say call span 2. It means it will span in two columns. So if I go back and if I refresh it, you can see this column is spanning in two columns. Okay, so that's how our column span work. So let's say we want to span this column, so we want only one column in this whole row. So what I will do, I will go here, I will cut all these columns, and here I will say call span 4. If I save this file, if I go back, if I refresh it, you can see we are spanning 4 columns, but actually we need to say 5. So if I refresh this now, you can see this one column is spanning now 5 columns, so it will reserve the space for 5 columns. Okay, so that's how we can span the columns. Okay, now what I will do, I will say it will reserve the columns for 2. So I will say column 1 right there, and here I will say column 4. So if I go and refresh this file, you can see this column is reserving the space of 4 columns. Okay, so that's how we can make a column which will reserve the space for multiple columns. Okay, now let's talk about how we can do this same thing with the rows. Now let's say we want that these 3 rows should be combined. So for that, what we can do, we can remove this thing, we can remove this first column as well, and here we can say row span, and here we can pass 3. So now if I go back, if I refresh it, now you can see it is reserving 3 rows. So row span used for reserving more than one row, so you can span multiple rows, and if you use call span, it will span multiple columns. Okay, now let's talk about the other attributes of the table tag. Now in the table we can specify cell padding. So if I say cell padding equal to 5, if I save this file, if I go back in the browser, if I refresh it, you can see this cell is getting 5 pixel padding. So let me go back, and here I will say cell padding for 20. So if I save this file, if I go back in the browser, now if I refresh this, you will see a difference between this line and this line. So if I save this, you can see they are a bit on the right side because they are getting a bit padding right there. Okay, so we can add padding in this cell. Okay, now after that we have another thing, so I will make this as 10. If I go back, refresh this page, you will see there is a padding of 10. After that we have cell spacing, so we'll say cell spacing is equal to 10. If I save this file, now if I refresh the page, you will see every cell has the spacing of 10 pixels, so you can add a cell spacing right there. Okay, now let's go back, and here let's talk about the other attributes. So here we can say border color is equal to red. If I save this file, if I refresh it, now you can see the border color become red. Okay, either you can put this in double quotes, it will work. So if I refresh this, you can see it is working right there. Now another thing that I want to show you, that you can say align center. If I save this file, you will see your table will be aligned centered. Okay, now another thing, you can set the color of the row. So here you can say bg color, it stands for background color, and you can say orange or any color name. If I save this file, if I refresh it, you can see the cells become orange. You can do the same thing right here. You can say bg, it stands for background color, is equal to yellow. Okay, so we can add a bg color right here. So we can say bg color is equal to blue, and let's add a bg color right there as well. Bg color is equal to green. I will save this file, I will refresh it. You can see all these rows have different color, so you can apply the bg color on any specific column as well. So if I say this column bg color will be different, so the row color is green, so let's make it red. So if I save this file, if I go back and refresh, now I can see it become red. Okay, because this attribute will have the more priority because it is more closed to this tag. Okay, now that's how you can make your table colorful. So we are adding the colors. Another thing is that you can add the color to your whole table as well. So you can say bg color is equal to gray. If I save this file, if I go back and refresh it, you can see your whole table is now become in gray. That's how you will use the tables. Now there is another thing, you can add a caption right there. So you can say caption, and here I will say learning how to create a table. If I save this, if I go back and refresh it, you can see this is the caption of your table, so user can understand why you are created this table. Okay, that's how you use the table. Now let's create a result sheet with the help of table. So what I will do, I will erase everything, I will save this file, I will go back and I will refresh it. Now we have nothing. Now here I will use the table tag, and inside the table tag I will add a caption, and I will say this is a results sheet. I will save this file, I will go back, if I refresh it, we just see results sheet. Now here I will say border is equal to 1 and border color is equal to gray. And other thing is that I want to specify the width is equal to 500 and height is equal to 400. I will save this file, I will go back. Now we have our table. Okay, another thing is that you can leave this thing, and if you leave this thing, your table will auto adjust. Now the first thing that we want to do, we want to create some rows and columns there. So I will say tr. In the tr, the first row will be our heading row. So here we'll say th. First of all, I will add a column which is roll number. After that, I will copy this thing for the name, obtain marks, total marks and results. So here I will say student name, and here I will say obtained marks, and here I will say the total marks, and after that I will say result. I will save this file, I will go back right here, I will refresh it. You can see it is auto adjusting now. Okay, now you can specify a bit padding there, so your text will look like good. So here I will go and I will say cell padding is equal to 5. I will save this file, go back and refresh it. Now the table looks fine. Okay, now we have this table right there. After that, what we want to add, we want to add the remaining rows for this table. Now what I will do, I will add a tr tag. Inside the tr tag, this time I will add a td because this will be a normal column. So here I will say roll number 1. I will copy this 5 times. Here I will say name is Puarasan and his obtained marks is, let's say we have total marks 1000, obtained marks is 800 and total marks is 1000, and result is pass. I will save this file. I will go back in the browser and refresh it. You can see this is our result. Okay, now what I will do to add the more rows, we will copy this. I will paste it right here 5 times. So we have 5 students out there, and I will go back on the table. I will say align is equal to center. We will make this center. Now it looks good. Now here what we can do, actually before copy pasting this, I want to make this student name column a bit wider. So here we can say width is equal to, let's say 200. So if I save and refresh it, you can see this column become wider now. Okay, now Visual Studio Code provide you a lot of flexibility. If you select this, and you can see everything is selected there. Okay, so first I will remove this thing. I will show you a trick. You will select this. Now everything is selected. You will press Ctrl F2. Now you can see cursor is right here, 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 and if I go down on every fluorescent text, we have a cursor. Now how we use this? We go back in the TD tag, we add a space, we say width is equal to 200. You can see for every row it is added. I will save this. I will go back in the browser. I will refresh it. Now you can see this is your table. Now quickly I will rename the data. So I will say this is 2, and he is not fluorescent, he is Mosh, and after that I will change his marks. I will say he has 900 marks. I will say third, and he will be Parvez Ali, and his marks will be 700. He is pass. And here I will say Farman Ali, and his marks will be 400. He will be fail. And after that we have the 5th student as well. So the 5th student name will be Masood Ali, and I will go there. I will say he has 450 marks and he is pass. Let's refresh it now, and we can see we have a beautiful result card there. Okay, now we can style this as well. So for the first row, what I will do, I will say the BG color is equal to gray. I will save this file. I will refresh it. Now the BG color become gray. Okay, so after that what we want to do, we want to highlight the failed student. So we will go back on the 4th row. For the 4th row, we'll say BG color is equal to red. I will save this file, go back and refresh it. You can see the BG color is changed. Okay, because now we are not using CSS, so that's why we will not change it with the help of CSS. When we use CSS, we will make this sort of table very beautiful and interactive, so everyone will love that. For now we are just learning the basics, so that's why we just try to understand how table works in HTML. Now here we can go there and we can increase the border. So I will say border is 5. I will go back and refresh it. You can see border become 5. And if I say my border color is blue, it will look beautiful. Okay, you can play with these sort of colors, cell padding, cell spacing, col span and row span and everything, and it will be very good for you if you practice a lot, because the key of becoming a software engineer or web designer or developer is to do more and more practice, because if you do practice you can remember the code for a long time. So for now, that's all from this video. Hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any question or suggestion related to this video or any other video, you can comment down below. Do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so you get notification whenever we upload any new video to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.